James Crenshaw is a partner and chief marketing officer at Gather, which is a co-working space based in Richmond, Virginia, and also some in Hampton Roads. It's also where We're Consulting sits, and we're really glad to have you on the show today. Thanks so much for joining us, James.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so one of the questions that we're asking everyone is what has the biggest disruption been for Gather in the COVID era?
Yeah, so like everyone, it caught us by surprise, and Gather stayed open during this time. We had essential businesses that call Gather their home base, and so they need our space. So we've stayed open during the pandemic, but while I'm here, there's really no one here like there used to be. It used to be hundreds of people. Now there's a handful of people in a 30,000 square foot space. So we're not having those interactions with members, and that's been a pretty disrupting feeling. At the same time, a lot of our members are going through hardships. All of them are facing unique situations, and having those communications and conversations with them, and learning how COVID is affecting their revenue, or how they're dealing with their kids being home, how what their future office needs are, and that's all been our constant daily focus every day, and that's completely different than what we were talking about 2 months ago.
But I'm curious, what do you see as some potential positive outcomes from this crisis?
On a positive side, I think we'll have new members join. A lot of businesses are letting their employees work remotely right now, and they may consider this a successful trial run where, hey, we might not need to pay for this huge office space and have all of our employees come to one spot. Maybe we let them work remotely. And some of those remote workers would choose Gather to work out instead of a traditional office space. We're also a good option for companies who have, over the past few years, consolidated their workforce into open bullpen environments. So everybody's working in an open workspace. So I think that's going to be a benefit from COVID. Another benefit personally would be that I think we're appreciating our interactions with each other a little bit more, just by the fact that we're taking the time to schedule these Zoom meetings, to talk to each other. We're all yearning for those interactions. And I've found myself like thinking, man, I really miss this person. And I've thought about that person more than I maybe have in the past. And maybe I, took them for granted or didn't think to have a conversation.
And James, one thing Steve and I have been talking about a lot is the change that may be permanent as part of this. And so 2 years out, as we look back in a pre-COVID world, I mean, what do you think you might miss most about the way life used to be?
Well, I think I'm already missing it now, but 2 years out, just the ease of day-to-day life. I have a 1-year-old, so just planning my life with him was already difficult. But now if I need to run to the store and get milk, there's so many different steps you got to consider. Do I even need milk? Is it safe to get milk? You start asking all these questions, and I really just like the ease of going to Lowe's when I wanted to, or to Kroger, or doing what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it without having these extra stipulations in mind. I'm also missing the members. We talked about that already in our space, seeing them in the building, casually talking to them, not thinking about, am I too close or too far away? And do I need a mask on?
Yeah, it was almost like we had a system by which everyone kind of agreed what was socially acceptable in terms of human interaction.
Right.
And, it's been stopped in some ways. And so, is a handshake okay? Is touching the same door okay? All these things that used to be agreed upon are now, there's 1,000 different opinions on what's acceptable. And it's all scary if you think too hard about it.
Yeah, and you can, but are you thinking too hard about it? That makes you question yourself that way. Like, should I just stay home, or should I try to go back completely to normal, or where is the in between? And that gray area, I think, leads to decisions that have to be made, which also leads to potential conflict with the people that you used to interact with on a regular basis.
James, I think for a lot of us, we're seeing some things we're actually grateful for. And so as you think out maybe a couple years, do you think there'll be some things in kind of the post-COVID world that you might actually be grateful for that came from this?
At Gather specifically, we've had an opportunity to work on projects that I've been pushing off for 6 years, or many years, because it just hasn't been the right moment to improve this integration, or to add a new system, or to clean out our database. There's things that really will help us that we've been able to do in the last few weeks that we wouldn't probably have done otherwise if we hadn't had this chance to kind of have a break from the day-to-day routine that used to exist before COVID.
So James, co-working obviously been in the news a lot lately with WeWork. How have you been thinking about that at Gather?
In the past, we'd say we're similar to WeWork, but we're going after a different strategy. We are focusing on smaller markets like Richmond and Hampton Roads. We're growing more organically. We don't have large institutional investors that are funding our expansion, so we're really having to keep a close eye on profitability and member engagement. One thing that makes us unique at Gather is the individual hospitality that we show our members. So when Stephen comes to work, Lindsay and Tariq are at the front desk, and they know what he's done interesting the last few weeks. They're going to ask him, "How was that trip?" Or "Did this happen the way you thought it would happen?" Or did you finish the project that you hoped was going to be finished last week? So we have that same thought and care about each of our members, and even more now than ever, focusing on those members and really knowing them and caring about them and making sure they're getting the value out of their membership that they originally came together for.
Really appreciate you joining us. Thanks for all those who are watching. Really appreciate you guys watching these things. I know we're really enjoying doing them, but keep the faith. Things are going to return to normal eventually. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.
Great. Thank you.